Hi, it's the Nursing Professor. Happy Motivational Monday. Today, I want to build upon what we talked about last week. If you remember, if you didn't see the video, go back and take a look at it. But what we did was this, is we said that we were going to dedicate 1 hour daily for each subject, and we were going to do the reading for 60 minutes. Along with that, we were going to do 10 practice questions for each subject daily. And by the end of the week, if we looked at a 5-day work week, we would have had 150 questions done. So we've already done that. We're going to build on this. All right. So today I want to talk about working on avoiding distractions. Yes, because we think that we're so good at multitasking, which we really aren't. The brain is going to start to sort out what it thinks is more important. And so we have to help it along by not giving it so many things to do at the same time. All right. And so going to give you some tips on how we can actually build that skill, because we're all guilty of it. All right. So number one, to avoid distractions, we're going to look at them as both internal and external. Internally would be things like if we're hungry. If you're hungry, go eat first. If you're sleepy, go take a 10-20-minute power nap so that you will feel better and be able to get through the dedicated time of studying. If you're stressed, then take a moment, go for a walk, meditate, mindfulness, any of the things you do to handle your stress. All right. But don't go into getting a task done just to get it done without having that firm intent that this is why you're doing it, in order to gain more information. If we look at external distractions, we're thinking about things like if we're cold. If you're a person that gets cold, have a sweater next to you. If lighting is poor, make sure you have enough lighting. If you wear glasses, have your glasses. Any of those things that we need externally, then we want to make sure that we have those taken care of. Number two, this one's tough. We want to set boundaries with our tech. All right. So that means cutting the phone off or silencing your phone. Put it across the room so you're not even tempted to turn it over to answer a message quickly. Because every time we hear that ding, that ping, that ringtone or whatever sort, then we get anxious because we want to respond to it right away. And we're all guilty of that. All right. So kind of think of putting your phone in a parking space, like a phone parking space. All right. Number three is time blocking. Time blocking is so important. And it's basically what we went over last week. And again, go back to that video if you haven't seen it, where you set aside a portion of time in order to get something done. And if you need a tool, get a calendar of any sort. But if you really take a look at the electronic version of the calendar that I have, it really, really is helpful. Not trying to force you all to get it, but it really does allow you to time block very well. Number four is to prioritize. Figure out what's the priority. On one week, the priority might be health assessment because there's a test in health assessment. Another week, it might be fundamentals. So you have to set priority. And this is good practice because when we actually work as a nurse on the floor, prioritization becomes a big deal. And last but not least is to put this thing into practice, and to put it in practice this week. Take about 20 minutes at a time when you just can't, you can't stand without being that phone again, and go get your phone. But it's like a muscle, like anything else. We don't go and start lifting 50 pounds at one point. So you start off slow and you keep building and building and building upon that. In about 2 weeks to 3 weeks, then you'll really have that as a habit, and you'll realize that you missing for an hour is not really a big deal. The world is not going to shut down. So again, takeaway point is this, is one task at one time. All right. I hope this helps. I'll see you next video. Bye for now.